Hello everyone, I'm Oziriz and you're watching the Tyria Weekly, third episode, and today I'm joined by, as always, Mr. McCheeze.
Special guest star today, McCheeze.
Oh,
Hello everyone.
you're so special, what the hell? You were here last week and the week before. Don't tell anyone.
Tell them.
Next one, put on an Iron Man mask or something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go, what's it called, have an adventure topic, new adventure each week.
Yeah. Ooh, I still need to see that movie, by the way.
You haven't seen the movie?
No, I have not seen the movie.
Oh, it's awesome. It's definitely the best of all the Marvel superhero movies.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I've heard, and I definitely want to see it, but with a 1.5-year-old, it's kind of hard to do that kind of stuff.
What do you? Just cut this episode, Ozzy. Go out and see it.
I'll send my daughter to you for a while on the boat, and
yeah, sure. When you're done, I can just she'll come in by the boat and I'll just return her by the next, and then that will be about right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, what have you been doing this week? Anything exciting besides doing the awesome video that we did yesterday? Of the amazing game called Warhammer Online.
Yeah. I've been playing Warhammer Online. You should try it sometime, Ozzy. It's great.
It is good.
Had a great time. No, what I've been doing. So I'm all swamped up in my studies currently. Getting ready for the summer holiday. So just wrapping up the last thing. There's still like a month or 2 months left actually before I'm going anywhere. But
yeah,
I'm knee deep in different assignments. Working on ray tracer for a rendering course I have, and that is teapots, rendering lots of teapots, of course, because they have the fused polygons. And to be honest, you want something with little polygons when it takes like, I don't know, it takes me 3 hours. I have my computer rendering all night to get a picture that I have for an assignment. So it's crazy, but I'm having a good time with it, and it's a great course. So that's fun.
I just rendered a teapot. Can you see it?
Yeah, well, almost looks like what I'm doing, except it takes a little bit more time.
So
but
as for me, I haven't really done much gaming this week besides Warhammer with you and some Battlefield we've done. As usual, that as much as that in between. I tempted myself into, or not tempted myself, I bought Diablo 3 today.
Nice.
I thought I wasn't gonna do it, but I did it anyway because.
You're gonna do it seriously. It's the most, Okay, I shouldn't say this in the. After Guild Wars, it's the best game.
Whoever they is, say that is one of the biggest games this year. So.
Yeah. Some people have mentioned that Diablo 3 might be a good game. Just maybe.
It's made by Blizzard, right?
I think so. Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
They made some games before, right?
Yeah, Diablo and StarCraft.
Yeah.
And Warcraft.
And Warcraft then. Yeah, no, I guess it's a great game. Looking forward to it.
I played a bit of open beta, and after there was so much trouble with that, but it was fun, and I think why I bought it is because playing with friends is gonna be fun, and that's what I want to do. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But other than that,
as easy as in Guild Wars 2, you can go do more or less anything in that game, right? Just when playing friends together.
Yeah, indeed.
Content will scale with your levels, as far as I know, and the amount of players there. So. And there should be more than enough challenge. I have a couple of friends there. They are so much into Diablo 3, so they've just been talking about it like the last couple of years, but especially like the last week, it's been crazy, and it actually sounds like a great game. And of course I bought the annual pass for World of Warcraft, so I got it already.
Yes, you bought the annual pass. It's good. Playing World of Warcraft every day.
Well, I'm locked in once a month at least.
Hey, you owe that to the game.
I'm playing the Mr. Pandaria beta at least, and that is also.
Also, something very interesting, Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes,
announced this week. Game Informer actually got an exclusive on that. and a video on that site. We will link that description down below. You probably already seen it, but we'll do it anyway.
It was with the game director, game design or something, right?
Yeah, that Mythic dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
he was on Dark Age of Camelot.
Yes, exactly. Interesting. What they talked about, I mean, it's fine, but of course you want your game to be the best game. But the things that they're trying to do sounds pretty interesting, and I'll keep my eye on it, I guess. But at the same time, there's something gnawing at me saying, because like a lot of people have, like, this game should never be an MMO. That's like somewhere in my head, but you don't know what they come up with. So let's sit back and relax. And it's coming out in 2013 already, so
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt so far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Personally, I wouldn't say the Skyrim is epic and all that, but to be honest, I always felt that the games, previous games, they have needed that last bit of polish. I mean, there's no games that will compare to them when it comes to these epic open world fantasy games. But at least not, it isn't that I've tried. But the competition in the MMO market are so tense that I don't know if they have. It has to be a good game, and they have. It doesn't have to be just great and epic. It'll have to be feel finished.
No. No, I agree, but there are two departments that are working together now, right? So like an MMO department and like the team that's behind the single player game, if I'm correct. So it's gonna be interesting because they can't. I mean, they're going for a third-person view, as far as I gathered, and I mean they kind of have to, I guess.
They are on the screenshots at least, but then again, it isn't like first person. It isn't like player.
Those screenshots didn't look that really good, but I guess it's just alpha footage anyway. But looking forward to see more of it. That's for sure.
I want to see a real trailer soon. Yeah.
Yeah, that trailer that they released. But that's
it's just a teaser.
Elder Scroll teaser, I guess.
Yeah. But I'm just reading right now that it's gonna be subscription based.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking as well. I'm not going to say that subscription based models are dead. Might be hinting that they're dying.
Yeah, I think like if you look at how the way Guild Wars 2 is gonna do it, I think that is brilliant. I mean, not only for the players but also for the company, because they'll in the end probably make more money anyway. But it's just easier for a new player to jump in. It's not like, ooh, I have to pay money for that. Never mind. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna try it. It's free anyway. So and if I enjoy it, if someone enjoys something, you spend money on it. I mean, look at gamers in general. They spend loads of money on crap. So.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, every MMO that has gone from a subscription based to free to play have increased their income quite dramatically.
Definitely.
Maybe not their their income per player from before, but if they get more players and every player pays something, sure.
It depends, how you look at it. If WoW would go free to play, they'd probably lose shitloads of money because they already have 10 million players. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But for a new starting MMO, I think free to play is the way to go. But if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. They have a huge fan base, and of course they're more or less all the players that are playing their game also have tried to play online. So there's a pretty decent overlap, I'm sure. But whether or not they can pull off the subscription based, that's way too early to tell.
Yeah.
Just come on, give us some more gameplay footage.
Yeah, I totally agree. But back on Guild Wars 2 topic, that's what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we'll have some interesting topics for you. We're going to talk a bit about combat. We are going to talk a bit about traits and attributes, and we're going to talk about a specific profession. We've had the idea to every week from now to do one profession and generally go over it, what it does and how it fulfills its role, and what is it better at, and to see what it's like, and our opinions about it. So, and this week that's going to be the Elementalist, but more about that later. First off, let's go talk about some Guild Wars 2 news. So this is something from Facebook. They week or two back they actually started this post where from 460,000 likes they would release a new art piece until 500,000, and we are now at 455. No, 400 and what is it? 495,000 right now, I think.
Can probably try and figure it out for you. 495, yeah. 984.
95. I said 59. That's just because in the Netherlands you count differently. But
so additional 4K.
Yeah, but anyway, these are the 4 pieces that all have been released since then. I think they look very nice. I mean, generally the art in Guild Wars 2 is freaking sweet. So, you know.
I love how it always seems to be, you know, kind of abstract, if you will.
Yeah.
It's not insanely detailed, but they have like this loose touch to them.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at English art terms, so
that monster, that last one that they showed, that was actually quite. I wonder. They said like in the post. I wonder if it made it into the game. Because, you know, look how epic.
Oh, that'll be epic. I'm hoping that the monster epicness kind of scales to the level, so every time you get to a new area, it's just gonna be like, whoa, that's crazy.
You remember that worm from the starting area of the Norns? Look at this one, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to attack this skill, just like the Deathwing fight, you know, only like 10 times bigger.
But I've seen some crazy footage still, like huge dragons and ghost ships and stuff. I mean, there's so many bosses, I don't know, so many monsters in that game that just looks epic. And
yeah.
So I just hope they won't go down the path where they have like, so we made this pretty epic monster, now we're just going to use it everywhere because we've made it, and I mean...
Like World of Warcraft generally tends to do.
Yeah, at least, you know, when in the next expansion...
Yeah, exactly, suddenly like, it's a normal mob.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what? He was like the hardest guy back in...
What? That's his brother? What?
Yeah.
Last cousin was last in... Yeah. Some other related news. PC Gamer had an interview. They talked a bit about servers. So we already knew this pretty much. You're gonna have to choose one home server, and that's it. You cannot change. You cannot go to another server and make a character there. What you can do is guest to another server whenever you want and play there. You can do conquest PvP. You can do PvE and whatever, and you know, you'll level up and take that character back to your home server whenever you go back. The only thing you can't do is world versus world, and well, that makes sense because you're representing your home server. But the most cool thing is here that they talked about, it's kind of vague in this article. They say that you can take your guild to another home server or something like that. If you transfer your home server, you can stay in the guild. And I'm not sure how that's gonna work. They don't really go into that per se, but they say think of each guild as having a distinct chapter that exists in any world where guild members make their homes. Yeah, make it so is that gonna be like you are in a guild and you transfer another home server, and then you can stay in the guild and that guild chat will stick together? Because that would be kind of weird. That would mean that you can only create one guild name, and that represents the whole game. Like there can only be one Serenity, there can only be one method, there can only be one. Because if you then try to make a guild on another server, you can't, because what if that other guild comes there as well? But
yeah, I don't know anything about that. Perhaps that'll be something we could look into for another week, you know?
Yeah, they didn't really elaborate on that, so it's going to be hard to say. To transfer your home server, to permanently transfer your character to another server, you will have to pay a fee, and you can only do it once every 7 days, and you cannot participate in World v World until that battle is ended, until you go against 2 other servers. So that all makes sense, I guess. Yeah, that's it for Guild Wars 2 news. Not
Well,
much
no,
news.
Ozzy, you're completely forgetting one thing.
Uh-oh.
On Monday, they have announced
Oh!
that there'll be a stress test.
Epic fail.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking, why don't you start with that news? It's so big. So, but it's fine.
You
All
do
right.
it.
So this Monday, what are we at? The 14th, I guess. Or is it? Yeah, it's Monday the 14th, right? Starting at 11 a.m.
That sounds like a horror movie. Monday the 14th.
The 14th. Oh,
Like a
it's gonna be.
parody movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the day we have before Tuesday the 15th, which will be the day which, yeah,
Guild Wars
the
2 beta.
least productive day in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find that announcement somewhere so we can.
It is on Monday from 11 a.m. PDT, so Pacific Daytime, which
Right.
is 8 o'clock for people that live in a GMT plus 1 country, and we are GMT plus 2 because we're in summertime right now, and 7 o'clock for people in England and Portugal, for example. I will add a link, by the way, in the description that will show every timeline. Someone made this. There's apparently a site where you fill in one timeline and then like an event, and then you can show for
Good. I've been
everyone.
missing something like that because time zones is just. Yeah. But it's only for people who pre-purchased it, and it only runs for 7 hours. So short little stress test at the servers, but it's because as I said, during the last beta they had hundreds and thousands of players, and there'll probably be even more in the next because they had some. I actually think they ran out of keys for pre-purchase in North America or something.
Yeah.
And I guess they have fixed that situation, so they'll probably open up for more, so more people can pre-purchase it by now, which means we'll probably have even more people playing.
Yeah, because they probably just fixed their servers to a certain amount of people, and then they stopped the pre-ordering there, and now they pushed it a little bit more to the limit, which is a pretty decent way to do it. But at least we're gonna get our fix, right? Hopefully we get to play and it will work. But everyone that's gonna sit like this on the Facebook page is finally gonna play. And I know you're out there. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully,
it's gonna be nice. Just getting those. And I mean, they have said that it's not replacing any other any other beta event or anything. This is just a stress test to test how the servers can handle a lot of players, and then they can do some more tweaks and improvements until the next beta event.
They had a stress test before the other beta weekend as well.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see another beta weekend soon. But given that this is just a stress test, it's not actually a test of the content or anything, which that means that you'll have if you played in the previous beta, you'll still have your old character. They'll not remove any characters, and you don't have to download a new client or anything like that. You can just keep the client you had. So
I wonder if you're gonna keep your characters through all the beta weekends.
I don't think so, to be honest.
Maybe not.
I'm not sure, but if they're making any changes, I guess the safest way to make sure that nothing goes wrong is just to let everybody re-download the game and clear the database.
Yeah, but people that were in the press beta didn't even have to re-download the game because the launcher updated itself. So.
Oh yeah. Well.
Even though they said that you had to do that, so it's kind of interesting.
Might be that it will work.
It's just for them to be sure that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's not their problem if something goes wrong for you if you haven't re-downloaded the game and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would though. I don't know if they're going to test at some point it's going to test some of the high-level content, but if they're going to do that, they'll probably need to have some kind of pre-made characters or longer beta event, or not restarting the database or resetting the database. So I kind of hope we'll be able to see some more high-end stuff at some point, or at least test some of the high-end zones.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because I'm curious.
Yeah, indeed, very much so. So I guess that's it for news then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not any more big breaks that I forgot there.
They had actually I think their gem store went up for a short amount of time.
Yeah, very short
days ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're online. They have a gem store that's online as well. You can also access it from the game. That went online for a short period of time. Sadly, I wasn't aware of it when it happened. So
They probably never meant to make it public.
No. It's closed again
Yeah.
by now. So
access denied.
yeah, exactly. So we don't really have anything from that, but we'll probably take a look at the gem store at some other point in time.
Yes, definitely. Let's move on
now,
to our
first
first topic at hand, which will be combat. First thing I want to talk about is the Holy Trinity. So basically how almost every game worked before, or every MMO worked before, is the Holy Trinity system, which is the system with DPS, healer, and tank, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Guild Wars 2 wants to get rid of that, but instead they want to kind of make their own Holy Trinity with a lot more freedom, which they call damage, control, and support. And every profession in the game will be able to do all of the things. Some of them will be better at other things, but every profession will be able to do it. So it will give a lot of freedom for making groups and playing together. This is awesome, and I have yet to see hard enough content to see it work, but on paper it sounds really awesome. Not much more I can.
The dungeons are supposed to be pretty hard. I don't know if we will actually see any content out in the open world that's going to be insanely difficult. I mean, from what I've seen so far, one guy has been able to tank the few encounters that have been really tough, but that's mostly because they have been at the right level for it.
Yeah, but like what Arena said about control, like they took tank away in control because they don't want to have the one guy taking all the hits. It needs to be like control is all about slowing down your foe, crippling him, and putting the debuff on him that like makes it next attack miss. Sure, you should be able to take one hit or so, but after that should be like a mistake because you should go through the encounter without being hit, and it should be reactive rather than proactive. Same with healing as well. They don't want healers to look at a health bar and see it go up constantly. They want to see support players support their allies with buffs beforehand, and sure they can throw out a few heals, but it needs to be because they take a little amount of hit, not because they're dying.
Yeah, well, I like the idea. My own point was that it's probably something we'll see work really well in the dungeons because you have a more controlled environment.
Yes.
In the open world, but I think that the scale, so you can't make this knife's edge balancing.
No, I don't know. They have talked about making 10-player events, so I know.
Yeah, but then you're in the same situation where you actually have an environment you can control because you know how many people who will attend.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I want.
But it's also interesting because it works exactly like that for PvP, because you can't really tank anyone in PvP. That doesn't really work. Whereas here you can control someone, so it's gonna be PvP and PvE are drawn much closer to each other than the original Holy Trinity system, which I kind of like. And a lot of people experienced that as well. They said I played PvP and then I suddenly got much better at PvE as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love. The overlap there is great.
Yeah.
So that the two game styles actually reminds they are similar.
Yeah, because PvP is pretty much a reactive game. Because in World of Warcraft, for example, if you are a good PvEer, it doesn't mean you're good at PvP. A lot of people that go into PvP fail because it's a completely different ballgame. You need to use different abilities, and you need to know every class very well because you need to know how to react when they do something. So it's a different game.
It's cool that bringing the two close together, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. So that's the first thing, and then we can talk a bit about weapons, and I have this awesome screenshot here. So different weapons in the game.
Slightly overwhelming.
There are different weapons in the game, and everyone can use a certain amount of weapons. As you can see, the Guardian can use one-handed mace and scepter and stuff like that. But even though like a Guardian can use one-handed mace and a Warrior can use it, that doesn't mean they have the same abilities. They get completely different abilities based on their profession. So all these weapons for different professions are all different, which is very interesting. It's gonna be a while to start learning everything, because it's gonna be interesting in PvP, because people will be able to switch between weapons, right? So you see someone do certain ability, and he's like, "Ooh, he has that weapon," and suddenly he switches, and it's like, "Oh shit, what weapon does he have now?" And it's gonna be a lot more focusing on.
It's gonna take ages to learn, to be honest, because just look at it. The combinations down the bottom right. The warrior having the most, that's 21 combination, and engineer seems to be down at 4 combinations, which seems to be the lowest.
Yeah, but they have the one with the lowest, like the Elementalist engineer. They have some they have like attunements for the element, and then engineer has like these packs that you can equip, like a flamethrower and stuff like that, and it changes your abilities as well. So that's what makes that fair.
Exactly. So it's just it's going to take a long time to be prepared for everything. There's so many different combinations, and to be honest, I think it'll end up being more like, I don't necessarily know what abilities he has, but based on his weapons, I kind of know what he's up to. So if he's running around with a great two-handed sword, then he's probably there for doing some damage. Whereas if you put on one hand and a shield, in the case of a warrior, then he's doing something more support and defensive role.
Yeah.
So I guess it'll be more like, at least at the beginning.
Yeah.
And of course then after, I mean. This is just the weapons, and while the weapons are kind of static, you can actually learn what they'll do. Then later on, you also have to know the extra skills that you can get for any class, and there are traits as you're showing up right now, and all that stuff.
So I was just gonna show here, like, if you go to, I think the warrior, it probably has like the most weapons in game that you can use, and you see the abilities change, like main hand and an offhand, and it just changes every time.
This is actually a great site you're using right now. They have pretty much everything you need to see, or you need to have to be able to customize your character or check out the different customizations. Of course, it's all from the beta, and it may very well change in the future and all that. But the site is really great, and to be honest, we'll just put a link in the description to this video so you guys can go check it out.
Yeah, we definitely will. It also has like the trade lines and the underwater weapons, which is something I want to quickly go to. It's kind of odd. So you also have underwater weapons, aquatic weapons, and every race has like 3 different weapons. Not every race, sorry. Just the game has 3 different weapons, and certain professions can only use certain of them. And Elementalist.
How do you choose between them? Is that underwater weapon swapping?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You
automatically have them as well, I think, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah, you have.
But you can.
I just never tried to do weapon swaps, so.
No, but that's one thing I love about the game as well, because that was pretty fun when I tried it for just that second. It seems very interesting.
Well, that's something we have to try out more at some point. Perhaps next beta, just a more underwater combat, to see what it's like, because I tried it for a total of 5 to 10 minutes, and it didn't really I don't know. I didn't get a proper impression of what it's like. I'd say that swimming and underwater stuff generally felt good. That you don't have a max like a breath bar or anything. You can just breathe underwater. You have exactly. So that's all fine, and it felt pretty good to be moving around underwater. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it actually feels to having big fights in the water as well.
Yeah. So here you see your utility skills, and these are based on skill types, which I will show here. And every profession has different skill types, and based on skill types, you will get abilities. So they'll be called after that. So like the engineer has elixirs, gadgets, turrets, and the elementalist has arcanes, auras, conjuring things, and stuff like that. Which is pretty overwhelming at first, but when you just take a look at this, then it makes quite a lot of sense, actually. Oh, I'm clicking wrong here. See, sickness and all that stuff. And the way this works, there are like certain points in the game where you can get skill points, and you see them on your map, and you just go there and you get it, and then you can buy abilities.
You also get them while you level, right?
I can't really remember.
I'm almost certain that you... or am I totally wrong about
No,
this?
I don't think so. That's trade
Okay.
points. Trade points you get.
Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah, that's probably true. Oh god, this game still feels like a big wilderness sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
In a good way, mind you.
But yeah, this just add a whole new, playing field, because you already have the weapon swap here that you can do, and then you have like these healing abilities, and I'm sure they're gonna add more, and then they have all these utility skills, which you can, by the way, change in between your combat as well. Because once you unlock them all, you can just like, oh, I want to have this one now, and then, oh, I want to have this one. Oh, I want to have this elite skill, and then, go on like that. Which, is a lot of customizability for one game.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty crazy. And that's what I mean, it's... If you're going to a PvP situation, it will take you a while to actually, figure out what kind of team you're fighting against, because there's so many possibilities. So many different skills that you can use, whatever way you want, really, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, indeed. So then there's dodge, and dodge is very simple. You have a bar, not adrenaline. What is it called again? Endurance, and you basically can do 2 dodges in one bar. And I do believe that some professions have trade skills that increase that. For example, thieves that can do it then 3 times, which will be interesting. There are, however, effects that will prevent you from being able to dodge, like a shield effect, immobilization effect, but also knockback and fear will prevent you from using the dodge. So it's not like a win button, like, ooh, dodge, heal, win. You can't always do that, so it's gonna be some mechanic to it.
That's an interesting ability, because that is... I mean, if you use them in the right situation, it's going to mean so much for the gameplay. Yeah. Because whenever you use that, you avoid any damage that's coming to you. Any projectiles or swings, anything, you'll avoid, dodge out of. So... And I mean, the way they made combat is that every skill has kind of their own unique look and animation. So if you're a good player and you're kind of like focusing on what's actually going on the screen around your character, then you should be able to see if somebody is about to launch something in your face or whatever, and then dodge out of it. And you'll have to use it in the right moment, because it'll probably mean a lot to your odds of surviving. That you're using this to survive the most damage or get away from just a bad spot you're in. Yeah. And I oftentimes found myself out of endurance, so I couldn't dodge the next big attack that was coming because I just used my dodge at the wrong time.
Yeah, you need to be really smart about it. I think it's a brilliant mechanic. That's that more depth to it, really.
Yeah, hopeful. I'm still not sure if I'm. I like the idea of it. I haven't tried it enough to say how big an impact it will have. Hopefully really big. That's on paper at least, but I'm still looking forward to testing it a bit more myself. Yeah. So I can get a feel for how much it impacts my game.
Yeah. Well, I have had, for example, where you see the red rings on the ground, which is like an AoE effect from an enemy. That where I tried to walk out of it, it didn't work. But when I dodged, I made it. So it's definitely gonna play. Yeah, that's right.
I used it a few times in those PV situations as well.
But I use it to walk as well. Like I try to get faster somewhere, and that's.
And you're gonna regret that when the big guy is coming with an axe up in your face.
Yeah. So that's that, and it's very interesting, and hopefully it will be used a lot. Then next up is boons and conditions, which is basically their wording for buffs and debuffs. So here you're looking at a list of all the boons in the game, which are buffs. I was just thinking for a second there. It's a weird word, but that's what they went with. And so you have eggs, which is exclusive to Guardians and blocks the next attack. I'm not going to read this to you because you can read it yourself. But
Well, I think what's interesting here is that they have so few boons, if you like,
Yeah, but every like profession probably has an ability that does that. Like a lot of utility skills are bound to these, and it's gonna be interesting because it's not like, ooh, we need. Well, in a Guardian's case, you want to have a Guardian, but it's purely because he's a Guardian, and that makes sense that he gets Aegis. But all the other ones, it's cool that it's the same thing. Not like in other games where you're like, oh, we need to have that class because we really need to have that 2% increased magic damage buff, or we need to have mana regen and stuff like that. And here's just like almost everyone can probably give it somehow. So it's easier to keep it up as well, I guess. Then
it seems like boons actually stacks, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I think so too. It says stacks in duration, stacks in intensity, stacks in duration.
Exactly.
So.
I actually just noticed that now. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, you can. Like I just checked out, the boon of might right now, and so the warrior has 3 different ways to get it. I mean, he can apply it to allies. I can apply it just to himself. It's not like just that every boon is only something you can get by a group buff or anything. You can both apply it to yourself, or there's an ability that apply it to others as well.
Yeah.
But it seems like almost everyone have a way to get this might boon.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be the same with more or less everyone. No, this one is actually
boon.
Mutilation can only be gained through Guardian, Mesmer, and
yeah,
Estimate,
some of them are, but at least that's already 4 professions that you named there, so. Or 3, whatever it was.
Yeah. But it's going to be an interesting system. I'm also looking forward to seeing how big an impact they'll have on the game, or how important they'll.
Yeah, I think you see all of them. It's not that, except for protection. They're all pretty minimal, I guess.
I don't know, 20% increased critical crit chance.
Oh yeah, that's kind of nice.
33% damage reduction, 33% movement increase, and then some other ones that are not present based, but
I guess those are probably bound to like a pretty heavy cooldown.
Yeah, might very well be, but I don't know. It seems to be pretty big, but of course, if it's only something you can apply to yourself, then it's a whole other thing than if you can apply it to an entire group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's hard to say if it'll.
Yeah, and not everyone can give it to. A lot of the times they're self buffs, right? They're not like group buffs even.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually the most important, because if it's a self buff that gives you 33% less damage taken, then fine. That's just a personal cooldown. But if you suddenly can use it on an entire group, it becomes pretty powerful.
Yeah, but that's where I guess the support role comes in. Do you want to play support role and then go for the utility skills that buff the whole group, or do you want to have the skill that is just for yourself and maybe get some more damaging stuff, so you more damage type?
I still love the idea that you can do both. You both have to be active in the combat, actually doing damage, while also having. So if I use the right weapon setup and the right utility skills, then I'm able to play a support role, but I'll still have damage abilities, and I should still go in and participate in the actual combat. And then afterwards, I can. In between, I can put out my my support abilities and put them to use whenever they're needed.
Yeah.
But it's way more active than just hanging around waiting for something to happen. So, all right, this group is pretty good, so I don't really have anything to do. I can just stand around here and wait for like in many other games.
Yeah, exactly. So next up is conditions. These are just debuffs. Also, again, generalized. If you can do a fire debuff, it's called burning, and every profession that can do that, it's called burning, and it's not like immolation and another fire debuff. I can't think of one right now. So it's all generalized, and it's again very nice because a lot of these, if not all of them, stack. Not all of them stack, and it's very important that they stack as well, because you need to work together, because you cannot stack it up on your own on a lot of the time. So I've seen like vulnerability here I've seen that stack up to like 25, and then suddenly your damage starts to increase shitloads
Yeah.
of shit ton. So
It also stacks in intensity. You know, all the other ones seems to be, most of the other ones seems to be stacking in duration instead.
yeah, exactly. Because
But it's
otherwise
actually,
I mean, you can't cripple someone twice. So
Mhm.
you know.
And I guess I actually think it's a pretty cool system now that I think about it, because that means that normally, if somebody already had a debuff of some condition, if you should stick with the Guild Wars 2 term, you know, if I apply the same debuff, nothing will happen.
No.
I mean, it's just, oh, I shouldn't have pressed that button now because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
just doesn't matter.
It doesn't
But
punish you for doing that.
but now, yeah, you're actually you're just getting it at the top of the duration, so it just lasts longer. I think that's fine. So I'm like, okay, I need to, this whatever thing is off cooldown, and I want to use it on that guy because that's the one we're currently focusing on. So I just throw it on top of whatever is there already. I don't know. To me, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Some of them seems very aggressive though. 66% reduced movement speed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I guess.
But then again, there's a lot of them that are just which is just X. So there must be a static number instead of like percentage based. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to say how powerful it will be.
Blind, I found it very useful. Elementalist is such a cool ability.
You had blind?
Yeah, blind to causes target and miss the next.
Nice. So that's actually kind of like a free dodge for you right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Against a single target, of course.
Yeah, but it seems to work very, very nicely, and you know, they thought very well about the system. It's not messy. It's very clean. It's very simple to understand as well. So it's very nice. I like it. So that's pretty much combat, as far as we can cover it without like playing the game. Next, we're going to talk a bit about traits and attributes. So, traits are. We talked a little bit about this already.
Yeah, you had the trait calculator up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
These are pretty much your traits, trait points. You get these by actually leveling. I shall show you. I will put that away because I need to put out my wiki here.
Get them fairly regularly.
Traits are only usable after the character has reached 11, and the character gains a trait point at level 11 to level 80, yielding 60 trait points in total from level ups. Trait lines are divided into 3 tiers, 10 points each, which are unlocked by the skill trainer. The tiers become available at levels 11, 40, and 60 and require purchase of a training manual from a profession trainer to unlock. You can put up to 10 points in each trait line for each tier you have. So
yeah,
that is this, the Adept, Master, Grandmaster. So you basically, I didn't know this, you need to buy a book in order to progress to the next tier.
Yeah, I actually heard that. So it means that you won't until you're close to max level, or actually max level or close to max level?
What?
Close to max level. You won't actually be able to get the last major traits before you're close to max level.
Yeah, 60 it says.
Yeah.
And that's kind of to prevent, but that you need to buy a book is kind of weird. Why don't I do just like when you level 60 you get that thing opened up? Why do you need to go buy a skill book? That seems kind of weird. But I know, whatever. It's not like it takes a long time to teleport back to the city. So.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine though. I kind of agree that it seems like a weird design, given that you don't really have to do that with any other thing.
Yeah, but let's talk a bit about this though. Like you said, you need to spend 5 points in order to get your small trait, and all the small traits that you see here are passive. They're not, or not passive. They are. You can't choose them. They're just there. The big traits you can choose. There are 12 big traits, individual to each of these 5 trait lines. So you get different trait points for this one. So like these are unique. Sharpening, blah blah blah, trappings, expertise. They are different than from these. See?
Yeah.
But so these do share in these. So you get to pick this one. You can't pick it again. See, it goes away. You get 11 left, and then blah blah, and then it works like that. And the same in every trait line.
Are they all passive, by the way? It seems like they are. They're just.
They're either like increased like crit chance but also like your first hit when entering combat causes vulnerability, which is interesting. And then, a lot of them are tied to abilities, like activating a signet grants might. So that's like a boon. So it seems very interesting. You can do a lot of different things within these trade lines. And I mean, you get 70 points, so you can do quite some stuff. You can do like max out 2 and then go 1, or you can like just max out 1 and then have 2 like this, or even do like this.
Exactly. I mean, actually, I think that so you can pretty much pick any.
Be an all-round player like this as well,
Exactly.
It's gonna be very nice.
So you're able to get quite a lot of major traits actually in different trees. So I'm guessing that it's actually maybe the minor traits you want to go for. I mean the minor traits, the first. Well, every minor trait has a solid place in the tree, a static place in the tree. You can't just select it.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that maybe that will mean something for you. So like if I want to get the last of the minor traits in the skirmishing tree or trait line, well then I'll have to put at least 25 points in there.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
And then of course we have the added attributes.
Yes. I was going to talk about that. Hold on a second. The attributes. Right. I have a thingy here. So here you can see your basic attributes, which are power, precision, toughness, and vitality. This is what on your main screen for every hero when you open your hero pane. And these are just basic stats that actually go up while you level, I think.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, yeah.
So every trait line that you just saw in the skill tool has one primary, I'll show you here, one primary, one secondary, and one profession-based attribute. And I can show you in skill tree. This is based on your primary, and this is your secondary, and that's for every trait except for the last one. This is like a primary and your profession base. So every last one in the last trait line, this is based purely on your profession. It's purely unique, and it does something. So for like the Elementalist, if you go into here, you see like 10%, 20% based on how many points you spent, and increase your attunement recharge rate by 30%, so you can switch faster between attunements, which is gonna be nice for PvP, I guess, for example. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. But yeah, power, precision, toughness are like your main things, and each character starts with 24 points in 4 primary attributes. Upon leveling, every primary attribute gains 4 points for reaching level 2 to 9, 6 points for level 10 to 19, 8 points for level 20 to 29, and so on until level 80. Players also receive a bonus 2 points when they reach level 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, and 80. This pattern continues like that until 80, until you get a total of 916 in all primary attributes. So that's a lot of attributes right there. That's kind of a complicated mathematics right there, but that's kind of not simplify that a bit. I guess it doesn't really matter. Who cares? Because you're gonna get those points anyway. So who cares how much you get in the end? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, if they're just passive, if they just passively adds up without you having to do anything, then by all means, I guess they've kind of made a decision on how to best.
What are these pluses? Sorry, I just totally cut you off there. But what are these pluses here? Can you like do something with that? Or maybe this is just an old screenshot. That could be as well.
Well, that's a good question. As far as I could tell, you gain them passively,
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it.
Seems like it. But What was I saying?
But basically attributes are just stats to make it less difficult. And based on what trait skills you use, it's gonna be different because you get different kinds of stats in every trait line. So, you know, if you're gonna go into water magic, you're gonna be more of a support type character, and if you're gonna go in earth, you're more of a control type person.
Yeah.
And air is more about crit, and fire is more about actual damage. And so you can just combine those and be like, yeah, crit and damage. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, that actually means that perhaps those attributes is actually what's gonna influence your decisions.
Yeah.
Because if I want to be something that is taking less damage, then I probably don't want to spend all my points in the power trait line, you know.
No.
So that's actually going to be kind of interesting. That maybe that will be what influences, you know, people's decisions instead of actually the traits you are getting from going into the tree.
Yeah.
And the trait is just going to be like, okay, well, so I wanted to just take less damage, so I went into this trait line and then just got these minor or major traits as part of the deal. So I'll just have to use them as best as I can.
I guess it all depends on how much it affects your character to get those attributes. Is it gonna be a major difference if you get like 200 power, or does it just slightly increase? It all depends on how majorly that is gonna affect your character, because you're still gonna be able to do the other stuff, just not as effectively. And how big is the difference gonna be between a full-blown water spec elementalist and a non-spec water elementalist? You know, how much is that heal gonna do a difference or something like that? That's gonna be something that's gonna be tested. And I mean, you know, people have talked about already. Oh, what's the best build for this? What's the best build for that? But that, I think, it's hard to say because there are so many different options that you can do with this. And it looks like right now, if it's gonna be balanced properly, that you can just play however you want to play. If you're gonna comfortably come for one thing, you're just gonna do that, and it should work in most situations. Most situations.
Yeah, exactly. That being the key word, because again, as far as I've heard, some of the dungeons are going to be insanely difficult, which really means that you'll have to play to a maximum. And at that point, your trade line or your choice of trade line is gonna probably make a huge influence. Because that one is kind of set in stone, and like the utility skills, you could just swap them, and you could swap normal skills by swapping weapons around.
Yeah.
Which you can just do on the fly more or less when you're in the field. But trained lines are actually well, when you've selected a trait, then you will have to go back to the city to I was going to say retrade.
Yeah, retrade. Respec your trade lines. But
yeah,
you know, but I wish they would just make a system in the UI that you can just do that. But you know what? Again, well, how long does it take to really travel back?
It doesn't take long at all. That Guild is too, because you have this. When you got enough money, you can just go through the gateways. You know?
Yeah.
So that's probably not going to be an issue. But then again, if it is so easy to go back to the city, then why not just allow us to do it on the fly?
Yeah, that's also true.
But I don't know. I don't think it's something you'll be doing too often, because, well, if you really know what you need, then of course it doesn't take that long to spec down to it, I guess. But I don't know what the price is, or if there's any cooldown or any kind of limitation on it whatsoever that keeps you from just respeccing. But
no.
I think I could try and give that a look in the next beta, actually, just to.
With the amount of customization that is, I don't think they should force people to pay more every time they respec, because that would be kind of lame.
No, exactly. I'd rather. I think with all the, as you said, with all the customization there is in the game, with the skills and with the traits and all that, then please let it be easy to just swap around, because it seems like. So yeah, I can do everything probably as well as no matter where I put the trait points.
Yeah.
I can still do anything, and that's fine. But if I want to really specialize into something because I'm going to a hard dungeon, then I want to switch my traits around. And it seems like that if you were able to do this at every encounter, I don't know, perhaps it will take too long to get ready for like every encounter. If you had to, okay, I'm just going to reset my trade lines because at the last encounter I needed a lot of toughness, but in this encounter I need a lot of attack. So that might feel weird, but on the other hand, it just seems a bit limiting.
Yeah, I guess it's gonna be hard to say until everyone is max level and things have tried, or not max level per se, you know, because people PvP and stuff and they get everything. But it's gonna be fun to see people theorizing. That's always a lot of fun about the game, like people that are gonna try to maximize, and how much is that gonna be actually possible in this game? You know, is it truly gonna be like play whatever you want to play, or is it gonna be like a different kind of electricity system where you say like in this boss fight we really need to have this kind of support and this kind of control, and you know.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
To be honest, with so many different abilities you're able to like put together, I think it'll be hard to get just this. This is the best possible way you can build your character with these traits and all these utility skills and all that. But then again, I'm sure that if I want to go damage as an elementalist, then I'll probably maybe have a staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least I think a staff is damage AoE based.
Yeah.
So go that, and then perhaps go into the fire magic tree, fire magic trade line, because that's where you get extra. You get extra power. I called power attack earlier. That was a mistake. I meant power. You get extra power, and it seems like most of your abilities are doing something that increase your fire damage somehow. So then perhaps I'll just stick with the fire achievement and.
But the cool part is then that yes, you'll be doing that, but if shit goes sideways, you can still go into the water tree, or switch to your water achievement and still throw down that heal or throw down some kind of support with the earth magic, whatever, and help out that way, and you can still dodge and you can still do everything. So how is it gonna work? You know, you will be better in something, but you can still do the other. And if someone dies, can you still make it because of that? And because that's what the game is all about. That's what I've heard as well from like the people that have experienced that. You know, you die a lot of downstate that's gonna go on and chaotic. But I really hope that what's gonna be the most fun to try out, I think, is go in there with like 5 elementalists and see if you can go through like the hardest mode of the dungeon. If that's possible, then that's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's probably something I should wait with until we go on to talk about the Elementalist, but
which we're gonna do right now.
Well, okay, sure. Then
bum 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 bum. The Elementalist. I'm just gonna read this quote. Elementalists have harnessed Tyria's natural forces. Their powers of destruction are drawn from an affinity with the 4 elements that make up the world. They conjure air, fire, earth, water to assault their enemies. A scholar profession, elementalists wear light armor. This is actually something we haven't touched on. So there are 4 like archetypes, if you will, which will be soldiers, which will have heavy armor, adventurers, which will be medium armor, and scholars, which will be the clothies, light armor. And elementalists, necromancer and mesmer are the light ones. Engineer, well, I want to keep saying hunter, ranger, and thief are adventurers, and the guardian and the warrior are the heavyweight duties. I thought engineer was also heavy armor, but apparently, because they can use a shield and stuff, but apparently they're not. So, interesting fact of the day. So
yeah.
Continue about the elements. This I'll just highlight here. You continue talking. I'll highlight the weapons that they can use.
No, I wasn't really going to talk about them weapons, but well, you were the one who played an Elementalist, Oziriz.
Yes.
So by all means, what weapons did you try out during the beta?
What else?
Well, what weapons? So as far as I can tell,
right.
You actually don't have that many combinations. But then again, combinations, how important is that compared to how Elementalists generally play?
It's not, because of the simple fact that you will have more skills than anyone else in this game. So you start out as I started out with a scepter, and then I got an offhand focus. This is basically like, I'd say medium range. 900 is medium because the staff gives 1200 range. And the dagger is like a close range. No, it's also 900. Oh, and then this is 400. Yeah, so 400 is close range, I guess. But yeah, you start out with a scepter and a focus. But the cool part is your abilities change depending on your attunement and your weapon. So you actually get 20 abilities per weapon, depending, of course, if you have a one-hander and an offhand. So that's quite a lot of different spells to keep track of. But you cannot, if you see here, you cannot switch weapon in combat. So, but I guess that's only fair and it only makes sense. Otherwise, it's just way too complicated.
Already got twice as many abilities as the rest of us. Yeah. Active combat abilities, that is.
I liked using the staff mostly because it has a large range, and it had a lot of AoE spells. But also nice spells, the fireball and like the water blast.
Yeah, but that's very offensive, right? I mean, that's very damage focused.
Yeah, but also like the air attunement is very supportive as well. Like this as well, you have like 2 healing abilities here.
Mm-hmm. So how long is there any kind of cooldown on changing from one attunement to the other?
Yeah, you change the other thing and then it goes on cooldown. So that's basically what this tree is for. This intelligence, which is the profession attribute of the Elementalist, increases your attunement recharge. So
do you remember how?
Yeah.
How do you remember how long the cooldown is when you switch?
I think it's. Oh, honestly, I have no idea. It's somewhere between 6 and 12 seconds or something. I think I can't remember exactly. It's quite a bit actually.
That doesn't sound like too much. It may feel worse. When
maybe it's longer. I don't know. It could be longer. I think it's like 12 seconds or something like that. 15 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. But it also makes up for being able, like, if you look at the utility skills, you have here Conjure Flame, Conjure Frost, Conjure Form. No, that's not. Sorry, Conjure Form. Conjure Lightning. And yeah, whatever. Anyway, these abilities actually summon a weapon to you and one on the ground that the friend can pick up, and it completely changes your 5 skills again. Like here, the Frame Greatsword, and you just get 5 skills, and you get like 25. You can press 25 abilities before it despawns, and those weapons are awesome. They are really cool. They do quite some damage and they are lots of fun, and that's gonna be interesting because the gameplay will never be boring. If you have like an Elementalist and you say like, "Ooh man, I'm tired of my daggers with teeth or something. Give me like a fiery greatsword and I'm just wanna blow some people up."
Is it just gonna work like? Well, I'm just gonna throw this down so some people can pick it up and then play a bit differently, or is it actually working like a DPS cooldown? That you throw it on the ground, and if somebody picks it up, then they'll be doing more damage.
I don't know if they do more, because I don't know the exact numbers and stuff, so I've not done any tests or anything, so... But it's definitely interesting. It's just to keep it fresh, and the same with the environmental weapons, I guess. It just keeps it fresh. And then you have like all these glyphs, a lot of protection and all that stuff, but it's...
Yeah, but those are the utility skills, so that is mostly focused around that.
Yeah. You can turn yourself into a tornado. That is just awesome.
Shapeshift into a tornado, damage non... Oh, nice.
I've seen that ability actually.
Then again,
really
that
cool.
is your epic skills, right?
Yeah.
Or elite skills. But they are epic.
Fiery Greatsword is also elite skill. Ooh.
Your hand, target location. Nice.
Oh, actually target location. So if you target a friend, then it will spawn on him. So that's kind of cool. Summon an elemental based on your attunement. Ooh, that is kind of cool as well. Oh man, they have so much cool stuff in this game. I could just look at it forever.
They seem to be the most complex class, right?
Yeah, after battle.
There isn't a lot of weapons, admittedly, but then again, just with all the abilities you have in your different attunements, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself switching attunements often?
In the beginning, no, because I was not used to it. the same with dodging. It's just like was standing there and hitting your fire, and that's it. And it was also kind of annoying because she finally got like a few abilities up, and then you switch to attunement, and then you need to get those abilities as well, just like a new weapon. You know, you don't unlock them at the same time. So, but in the end, yeah, I did, and it's necessary as well because abilities have quite a long cooldown, and you know, here this one has 5-second cooldown. Oh wait, this is not an official weapon. One sec here. Like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30-second cooldown, and this one 40. So if you hit all those, then they're all on cooldown. So you're kind of forced to switch, and it's nice because you know when this one's off cooldown, you want to use it because this blindness is really nice, and this one is like a swiftness, and then you go back again and you do this, which is like burning damage, and all that stuff. It's really cool.
But you don't have any way to like keep track of which ability. So when you were in wind attunement and then you went into the fire attunement, you don't have any way to keep track of how the cooldown is looking in the wind attunement, have you?
The specific spell in that.
Yeah.
No, you don't have except for so counting in your head, I guess.
Yeah, you'll have.
But
to
I guess that just becomes naturally at some point, because it did for me. Because what I just did was like switch to fire, switch to air, and then earth, and then throw down a healing, and I went back to fire, and everything would be ready again. But I think it's just basically going to be knowing your class really well, or your profession, and it's all about reactive combat. So you need to know when you fight someone, you start with fire to do some damage, and then he attacks you to switch to water, throw down a heal on you, and slow him down, and then with electricity knock him back, and then, you know, work that way rather than follow a specific pattern, because that's not what's going to happen.
No, of course. But it's actually, I didn't know that the abilities there would have such a long cooldown. I think that's insanely cool actually, because that means that the entire class is based upon you switching attunements all the time. All the time, but you know,
a good Elementalist will switch constantly,
Yeah. That's cool. I just thought that, okay, in this fight I'm just gonna be the fire Elementalist, and I'm just gonna stand there throwing my fire stuff at them.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's great. So, very interesting.
And that's why I think damage meters are not going to work in this game. Basically because of that reason. Because, you know, it's a reactive game rather than push 1-1-1-2, 1-1-1-2, cooldown 1-1-1-2-3, 1-2-3. You need to react. You need to like, ooh, he's coming for me now, so I'm dodging, and I'll use blind, and then I'll knock him back, and then I'll use another ability rather than 1-1-2, and then he comes to me, oh god damn it, tank, why did you die, or why did you not get healed, or why did you not get aggro? That's not it. So it's different kind of playstyle.
But this great mix of everyone being kinda in charge of their own survival, and then of course some guy being more utility based may have to, you know, do some more to keep the group alive. But like as a guardian, I had kind of a shield that I could place down around me and my allies, and that would, as far as I remember, I don't remember if it actually protected my allies, but it would return damage if anyone would take, it would return damage to the attacker if anyone within that circle were taking any damage. So that means that, well, I would put this shield down, but it wouldn't do any good if anybody was just moving out of it. So in that way, I could kind of add some support to the team, but people will have to react to it and actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much visual. Everything in this game is very visual. You need to react, and the same with those class combination combos, where someone puts down fire, someone needs to react, and then starts shooting arrows through it, or magnetic field, and the warrior does an AoE, and it suddenly becomes like something else. And it's yes, you're a support, but you're not gonna be a passive support like, ooh, I gave you a buff, now go damage. No, oh shit, he put someone on the ground, I need to get my ass over there and do something. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. It's completely based around teamwork. But it is self-sufficient, where you need to heal yourself and keep yourself. If you're dying, it is pretty much your own fault, except for maybe in really hard boss fights where everyone needs to help each other, of course. But yeah. But,
so how did which roles do you think Elementalists will shine? I mean, can they do everything very well, or?
Well, I can show you, like, you know, because you can see in the trait that fire is all about power, and this is all about, air is all about precision, which increases your crit, and prowess, which increases critical damage. Earth is all about toughness and condition damage, so it's more like a debuffer and being more tough. And this is all about healing, and there are quite a lot of healing spells in this game, especially this here, this staff has actually 2 healing abilities. This one is summons a geyser to heal allies, and this one is a healing rain.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So, you know, there's quite some support. And Earth is all about, more about debuffs and protecting yourself, like you can summon a shield for yourself at some point. Magnetic aura, reflects projectile with magic energy.
Nice.
I love, by the way, how that works. Have you seen it on your Guardian when you put that shield up, that the enemies actually get knocked back and stuff like that? And they walk into your shield, and they don't come through. They can't come physically through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool, the way that works.
I have, as a Guardian, I was able to like put down a magical barrier that people enemies couldn't go through.
That is so cool. Like the response you get from the screen it's really good.
Yeah. So, but then you feel like you can do most things with an Elementalist very well?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna be one of those all-round classes that can do a lot of things.
And as far as I could understand, so you started out playing a thief, right, during the beta, and you weren't too much into them, but then the Elementalists were a second character, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm still think I'm gonna play that at launch, but I also really loved Warrior after that. But Elementalist is really, it has a little bit of everything, so. And it's you're gonna really see the difference between a good and a bad player, but not necessarily just for Elementals. That's for any class, really.
Yeah.
So profession. Sorry.
Yeah. What can you do? It's gonna take a while to get used to that. So very interesting. Do you know anything about the underwater abilities of the Elementals? Is there anything specific there, special there?
No. So a lot of underwater abilities is in many professions. They all work with 3D space. So a lot of them, like either, if you look at this ability, rock anchor rock to your foe and making him sink to the bottom, which is just totally epic. And then you have this air attunement, which is like this air bubble traps your foe in an air bubble and makes him rise to the surface.
Awesome.
So they totally make use of that 3D space, which I've never seen before. So there are gonna be dynamic events and stuff like that gonna happen underwater, and also PvP as well. So it's gonna be very interesting the way that's gonna work.
That sounds so cool.
Just imagine being on the bottom of the ocean or something, and then like this guy comes, or like 5 elementals come, and they all like ran. First one does air pocket, the second one air pocket, and then you suddenly enter the surface, and then it's gonna be.
The stuff that you swim around, and then suddenly just a stone anchor around your legs pulling you down. What the hell?
Yeah, and abilities look good on the water. Like fire, you can't use fire on the water, so it becomes magma, which makes total sense. Steam, boil, lava chains, heat wave, and you know.
It seems like they've really been thinking that through.
Yeah, it's really good. Ooh,
and you also have just this ton of extra abilities underwater.
Oh, look at this, for example, ice wall, and then you can choose to detonate it if you want.
Ah, nice. Oh yeah, that's like those chained ability. No, not chained. Sequence abilities, right?
Yes, a lot of like Mesmer has it as well.
Yeah, using one will enable the next in the sequence, and then when you use that, will enable the next again.
Yeah.
Very cool. I don't recall that I had any of them. Oh yeah, I think I had one where I would like, as a guardian, I like send swords out in different direction, and if it hit anyone, I could use the ability again and then like drag them to me. So they would have some. If I hit them with those magical swords I send out, they would be caught in some chains, and I could pull them back to me.
Generally, a lot of melee weapons have them, as far as I can tell. Like if you see here, two-handed sword has 3 here for warrior, and one-handed sword as well, and the hammer as well. But then like ranged don't have that. So, which makes sense, I guess, because when you hit a sword, you don't hit once. You don't hit the same thing same time.
Yeah.
You like do over your shoulder and then like underneath and then stab him, whatever.
So you're like building up. It doesn't do that do like more damage every time you hit them?
No, not necessarily more damage, but it does different things like extra bleed damage, and yeah, I guess the last one is the most powerful one. Like the hammer, you can like smash someone to the ground and stuff, and that's interesting. interesting to see that. Huh. So much to learn. So much to learn.
Yeah. Tell me about it, man.
And still, this is all like we're just talking about it. We have not truly experienced everything yet. So it's gonna be, talk again in a year, and we can look back at this video and think, that didn't really work out the way we thought. So
we were total noobs back then.
Noobs. Remember that? Remember Vanilla WoW when you were wearing that white banner set and didn't know what talent trees were? And
don't tell me about Vanilla WoW.
My pet has a talent tree as well. I didn't know that.
I was like, I'm just gonna get this. I was a warrior back then. I'm just gonna get this two-handed sword with a very fast attack speed, because then I'll hit more often. That makes sense, right? Then I'll do more damage.
Yeah.
And that was until I figured that, well, no, it's the opposite way around. You want something with a slower attack speed.
This was actually my first MMO, and I wasn't really an RPG. I was pretty much an FPS person back then, and I didn't really game other than some casual Xbox and either like first-person shooters or like adventure games or stuff like that, or sports games. Not really RPG. And I played a warrior, and my friend started a hunter. And I saw him shooting a gun, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, I want to get a gun. And I got a gun, and I only had one attack that shot, and I used that for the longest time until I figured out, okay, maybe I shouldn't use this because I am not a hunter.
I didn't, as a warrior, I don't know, I didn't train my charge forever, and after I trained it, I didn't use it forever, and then one time I just tried, and I was like, oh man, that's just... Yeah,
but when
it's going to be the same with this game all over, you know?
but not even as much for us. Imagine someone that is new to Guild Wars 2 and sees all this shit and thinks like, oh, what the fuck is going on here?
If you're completely new to MMOs, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people forget that there is a first time for everything, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, noob, and so freaking hostile. I hate that, and people need to be more kind to new players.
I don't think that will matter too much in most of Guild Wars 2 content. I think it will matter in the dungeons, like where, again, you have a limited team.
Because in the open world you can see like, everyone is just doing something and you don't really...
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense. Maybe you'll be able to say, okay, that guy should maybe have used
not like,
that ability or whatever.
Learn to tank. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. You will probably be able to see that, okay, some guys are not doing as much as they should, but then again, the event is already like... The whole thing is that...
L2P.
What?
L2P.
Yeah, but what I mean is that you're getting rewarded for how good you're playing, and of course some guys will be playing better than others, but it shouldn't make or break the game when you're just doing dynamic events. Whereas in dungeons it will probably matter, but dungeons also have multiple difficulty levels, so if you're doing the easiest ones like the story mode dungeons, then you should be able to roll pretty much straight through it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing one of the harder dungeons, well, then you probably select your teams more carefully and not just take any random dude. So.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, I hope we won't hear that too much in Guild Wars 2. To be honest, I'm crossing my fingers that the community will be good.
You are a priest and you're not healing. What the fuck? Yeah, good times. Good times.
I mean, there's so much rage.
It's so easy to forget that people don't understand the same thing that you understand. Sometimes it's hard to forget, or easy to forget. Sorry, so hard to realize that. So. Be nice to new players, world, or else McCheeze will kick your ass.
Kick your ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
with a cheese. Shove it up your arse, like. Okay.
That's a waste of good cheese, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, no respect.
No respect for the cheese. I do apologize.
Yeah. But on that topic, go read the newest XKCD. It kind of touches upon that subject just a little bit. XKCD.com. Go.
Go. Now.
I don't get any money for saying that, sadly, but it's...
Not yet.
Great webcomic. Oh, yeah, good point, Ozzy.
If I just put on a suit, I look corporate, and then say, like, you get money.
Well, I'd rather just get the money, and you can wear whatever you like.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
But
anyways, are we...
Overall, the profession, really fun. Try it out. I think you'll like it as well. It's good.
Not every one of you, because it'll get kind of tedious if everyone is
But you know, that's
to be honest, Elementalist seems to be one of the most popular. I saw a ton of Elementalists running around.
there's this site that where like 40,000 people have put out what race they play and what gender they are and what profession, and Elementalist was by far, not by far, but it was the highest percentage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It all seems very interesting.
But
I
also,
more so than other classes actually.
I was one of those people, and then suddenly I started playing warrior, something I thought that maybe I'd play as a fifth alt, and now I'm considering to play as first character because it was so refreshing to play something like that, because I have so much in my head like, oh, warrior DPS, wow, yeah, that's so fucking boring. And
yeah,
I'm not a guy that likes melee characters. I don't know why, but I just don't. But I loved it. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
So, but yeah, no, I saw a ton of Elementalists doing the beta, but it's hard to tell. Hopefully, people will actually, try out different what they call again, not classes, professions. God, no, it's just like classes, no, and then I'm thinking careers, but that's Warhammer Online, which we've just played, and we need to make up some kind of standard within MMOs for no.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, someone just came in. Sorry.
Yeah, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of fun. The Elementalist. I'm definitely going to try it out, and it seems like a very powerful caster with lots of different.
You know what the coolest part is? It's like this is like the mage archetype, and it's totally not. It's like the different attunements.
Mage shaman,
Yeah, but it's so cool the way it works. The thought that like, they could have gone with like every weapon has one fire ability, one arcane ability, one air ability. No, they went with the attunement system, what I think is just fucking brilliant. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good class. Profession.
Profession.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but I guess that's about what we have to say for the Elementalists. It's probably more than we should have, but yeah. So next week we will have another profession for you.
Yeah, we'll have to decide which one. Probably Guardian, because you have most experience with that, or Warrior or something else.
We could try Guardian, that's fine.
Guardian.
I'll probably be playing it some more doing the... I should have a couple of hours to play the stress test, so probably try... I'll probably be playing the Guardian a bit more. I can't be asked to, make a new character just for a couple of hours. So.
No, I don't know what I'm gonna play. Let's see. I don't know.
It'll actually make sense for me to try the Guardian, and I can just refresh some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully we'll be able to record just a little bit more and put out there. There won't be any NDA on that thing, so.
No.
It's
but
all cool.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's about the end of the show now.
Yeah.
I hope you liked this episode, and if you do, please like and comment below. Also subscribe to our channel if you can be bothered, and go to our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. It's all below here, and subscribe button up there, so do it now, please.
Also, if you didn't like the episode, you're also more than welcome to comment.
Yes, but don't press dislike, don't do that.
No, that's
don't do that.
We don't like those. Nah, but right, all things being fair, yeah.
It's a free world, do whatever you like, but stay moderate, don't be an ass.
Also, check out some of the other things we've been doing, We have some other Guild Wars 2, we have some Guild Wars 2 footage out there, we have a little bit...
There's no other stuff, it's only Guild Wars 2. There's no other games.
We are running this other show called Evolution MMOs, which is kind of like a build-up to Guild Wars 2. We have been looking at how, well, MMOs have,
progressed over the years.
Yeah, starting with Ultima Online. Go give that a look if you want to see some of the other games that have come before and where Guild Wars 2 have gotten some of their ideas from. It's actually kind of interesting it's been kind of interesting for me at least to like go through the games and see, oh right, they were the first game to do this and that.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see, because a lot of people keep saying, oh, wow, ripoff, but that's not entirely true.
Not quite.
Not quite. So check that shit out, and also we will release random videos. I know they have been scarce lately, but it's just because we don't have that much time, and this weekly show just gives a lot of energy away from our lives, so takes a lot of energy.
Next beta, more footage, I promise.
Yeah. Guild Wars 2, we love you. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Till next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See you.